Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome back to the review program. The discussions around the sustainability, the green economy, and protection of environment are gaining popularity, especially considering the fact that this year was declared Year of Environmental Protection and Green Economy, and the draft strategy for 2025 mostly focuses on this sector. What are global trends as of now? What are the challenges and obstacles that Uzbekistan might face in the sector? We will review that in this episode and find out answers to these questions. But before we proceed, let's first review the news of the week. My colleague Asadbek Jurayev will continue.
This week, Uzbek-Malaysian relations were in the spotlight of the news agenda. Uzbekistan's President Shavkat Mirziyoyev paid an official visit to Malaysia. During the visit, President held productive discussions with Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, focusing on strengthening bilateral relations in areas such as trade, investment, education and tourism. The two leaders agreed to establish exchange programs between higher education institutions and research institutes to foster people-to-people ties and mutual understanding. They also pledged to enhance cooperation in Islamic and halal tourism, including promoting Umrah Plus program to position both nations as pre- and post-pilgrimage destinations. The visit concluded with the signing of a joint statement aimed at deepening bilateral cooperation and achieving strategic partnership for future generations. Uzbekistan has unveiled the official logo for the 20th CITES conference, set to take place in Samarkand from November 24th to December 5th, 2025. The logo, created by the Minister of Ecology, was presented in Geneva and reflects the country's commitment to wildlife conservation. CITES Secretary General praised the logo for representing Uzbekistan's biodiversity. As the first Central Asian country to host a CITES conference, Uzbekistan expects over 4,000 participants during its Year of Environmental Protection and Green Economy.
We are delighted to present you logo for CITES COP20. At the background of ancient Samarkand architecture, logo reflects petroglyph found near Hojikind village, which resembles argali, and local plant Rhodiola seminivoli, with both CITES listed.
Uzbekistan has officially established diplomatic relations with the Federal Republic of Somalia. Uzbekistan's permanent representative to the UN, Ulubek Lapasov, and Somalia's permanent representative Abukar Dahir Osman signed a joint communique in New York. With this agreement, Somalia becomes the 157th country with which Uzbekistan has established diplomatic ties. The Ministry of Justice has officially registered Samarkand bread as a geographical indication, recognizing its unique quality and origin. Minister Akbar Tashkulov presented the certificate to the acting governor of Samarkand region. The registration, supported by the Intellectual Property Center, ensures legal protection for the famous bread. Previously, in August 2023, Bukhara's Gishduvan kebab also received geographical indication status. Uzbek cycling has achieved a historic milestone as Kozum Urumboy-Khojayev, first Deputy Chairman of Uzbekistan Cycling Federation, was elected Secretary General of the Asian Cycling Confederation at a meeting in Bangkok. The election coincided with strengthening ties between Uzbekistan and Malaysia, as Malaysian citizen Amarjit Singh was chosen as the Confederation's new president. Uzbekistan is taking significant steps towards sustainable economic growth, with a strong focus on private sector development and green transformation. A recent report by the Asian Development Bank accelerating private sector development and green transformation in Uzbekistan highlights key strategies to achieve these goals. The study emphasizes the importance of agriculture, human capital development, and regional integration, while also recommending market reforms and green initiatives to unlock new growth opportunities.
Well, this week was definitely productive. Now back to our topic, sustainability, climate change and reforms in this area. How do locals contribute to country's sustainable development? Are they aware of current trends? What issues do they observe? My colleague Sevil Rajabova has talked with the local resident and got answers to these questions.
As 2025 has been declared the Year of Green Economy and Environmental Protection in Uzbekistan, both the government and citizens are taking steps toward a greener future together. We decided to ask locals about their daily efforts to protect the environment, their awareness of environmental initiatives, and their thoughts on waste recycled management. I think personally I use water and gas rationally, meaning turning them off to save some. Personally, I always throw trash into the proper bin in the designated place.
Ну, стараюсь.
Well, I try to litter less in places where it's not allowed. Unfortunately, there are situations where there is nowhere to dispose of it, so I just put it in my pockets. I also don't burn trash since our air is already not the cleanest. Sometimes my friends and I go out to sort waste together.
Если не ошибаюсь,
If I'm not mistaken, I heard something between 2017 and 2021 about 5 initiatives.
I've heard about a couple, actually. There's one in particular about recuperating the Aral Sea, which is very interesting.
People from the America are coming over here to work with the water system in some of the regions, and they're trying to improve the toiletry system in Uzbekistan.
What is the biggest environmental challenges facing Uzbekistan today?
Это мусор.
I see it's garbage, I see a lot of it on the street. People sometimes throw it in the prohibited places.
Думаю, что не очень.
Well, for example, the air, the environment, and waste.
я думаю, это газ.
I think it's gas. People don't have enough gas. Also regarding waste, if trash bins were placed in other districts, like in the Yashnabad district, I think there would be less litter.
Ну, как я знаю.
As far as I know, Uzbekistan is currently ranked first in air pollution.
Have you noticed any positive changes in how waste is managed in your city?
Да, возле школы у нас.
Yes, there is less litter around our school now, thanks to the cleaners who remove it. As a result, the air has also become cleaner.
I haven't been here very long, but the fact that people are recycling, I think is a huge plus, actually.
Думаете ли вы, что люди стали бы заниматься? Do you think people would recycle more if they were rewarded for it?
Смотря какой результат от этого.
It depends on the outcome and the pricing. This is a matter of national importance.
Ну, некоторые, возможно, да, но
Some people might, but it depends on the individual. Even rewards wouldn't change a person. But if fines were introduced, I think the situation would improve.
скорее всего, да, если...
Most likely, yes, especially if there were incentives like tax exemptions for certain activities.
As of 2025, the global green economy is characterized by several significant trends. Expansion of renewable energy, for example. The cost of clean energy technologies such as wind, solar, and battery storage have continued to decline. New renewable energy projects now offer cheaper production costs than the new coal and gas plants globally, facilitating a shift away from fossil fuels in combating climate change. Adoption of circular economy models. Many countries are embracing circular economy principles, focusing on resource efficiency, waste reduction, and sustainable consumption. This approach aims to minimize environmental impact while promoting economic growth. Growth of ESG investments. International, social, and governance investments have gained prominence in global finance markets. Investors are increasingly considering sustainability factors in their decision-making processes, leading to a surge in funds allocated to companies with strong ESG performance. Uzbekistan aligns with these global trends through its comprehensive green economy initiatives. The country has declared 2025 as the year of environmental protection and green economy, emphasizing its commitment to sustainable development. Plans include increasing the share of renewable energy in total power generation to 26% by construction 16 new green power plants with a combined capacity of 3.5 gigawatts and hydroelectric station totaling 160 megawatts. Additionally, Uzbekistan aims to install small solar panels in 35,000 households and 27,000 private and social facilities. But what might be the possible challenges on this way?
Uzbekistan is well positioned to take advantage of these new strategies for circular economy. However, there are some major challenges exist. Number one is objective data. We need, for any sort of change that we'll have, whether it's in building industry or in other industries, we need objective data so that it can be used to design policies, and then businesses can use that data to design their strategies, investment strategies, long-term planning strategies. So I would say, number one, and this is what we can learn from other countries, is collecting good data on the performance of different industries, different buildings, different structures, and then use that data to drive policies and investments.
Countries worldwide are adopting circular economy models to enhance sustainability. For instance, the European Union has implemented the Circular Economy Action Plan focusing on sustainable product design, waste reduction, and resource efficiency. China has also integrated circular economy principles into its national policies, promoting recycling and sustainable industrial practices. Uzbekistan's draft strategy for 2025 positions the country within this global transformation by prioritizing environmental protection and green economic development. The government plans to implement green technologies, promote water conservation, and significantly increase green spaces. Efforts to mitigate the Aral Sea disaster's impact and improve waste management are also central to the strategy.
So green financing is just a tool, one of the tools that makes it possible to transition to a green economy. My sort of biggest experience comes from the US, but I also studied the work that was happening in Europe. And you can see the successful strategies are the ones that are comprehensive in nature, whether they have, as I mentioned earlier, objective data as one component, various financial incentives, various financial penalties, and then step-by-step strategy that feeds each following step with some benefits and addresses the challenges that come up with each step. And you can see these type of developments, for example, if you kind of localize in places like New York City, where they had 20-year program which was gradually growing and expanding and adding more and more buildings and more different components of their overall sort of New York City economy. It's a small example, but it gives an understanding of how a systematic effort with a good strategy and ability to adjust leads to successful results.
Global financial markets are shifting toward environmental, social, and governance investments. ESG investments involve incorporation sustainability factors into investment decisions. This approach assesses companies based on their environmental impact, social responsibility, and governance practices. Countries are implementing ESG investments to promote sustainable development, manage risks, and meet the growing demand from investors for responsible investment options. By focusing on ESG criteria, investors aim to support companies that contribute positively to society and environment while achieving long-term financial returns. How can Uzbekistan leverage this trend to attract foreign direct investments in sustainable industries?
Over the last several years, there were some mixed feelings about ESG. Some companies really and some countries really pushing in that direction, but there's also in the investment sort of community, there are some discussions about the validity of ESG certifications, because that's based on reporting. Just as anything else, ESG is a tool. If the company is not using ESG to transform its operations and its businesses, then it's just a little report card that they submitted. So I think we should not just focus on just one tool like ESG. There are many other standards, like for example, in my industry, in construction, you have LEED, BREEAM, EDGE that we're planning to use here or expanding the usage of those here in Uzbekistan. Those are tools that help international investors understand the validity of whatever the actions that are happening. So those standards, whether it's ESG or the green building standards or supply chain standards, sustainable supply chain standards, those are tools that allow outside investors to understand that the work has actually been done, it's been verified, so it is safe for them to invest. So that's a critical point, not to focus just on the certification, but to use it as a tool for the longer-term strategy.
For instance, according to the expert, the new Tashkent project uses those international green building standards to attract international investments. Other standards used in this project also include LEED, BREEAM, and EDGE. Some nations have successfully issued green bonds to fund sustainable projects. Green bonds are debt securities issued to raise capital specifically for projects with environmental benefits such as renewable energy, energy efficiency, and pollution prevention initiatives. Nations successfully issuing green bonds include France, which issued €7 billion green bond to fund renewable energy and sustainable infrastructure projects, and China, which has become one of the largest green bond markets globally, financing various environmental initiatives. Could this be a viable financial instrument for Uzbekistan, and what conditions need to be met for this success?
Green bonds, just like many other green financing tools, is just one of the tools to utilize. There are carbon credits, there are special green financing with like lower cost of financing kind of tools, financial tools available as well. So there's a great variety of tools that need to be looked at. What I think needs to happen, sort of not putting the cart in front of the horse. First, we need to figure out what is good for the strategy in terms of resource efficiency for Uzbekistan. And then from there, figure out which tools, financing tools, are useful for that. Maybe bonds are great tools for this, maybe not, right? It really depends on what we're trying to do. Are we trying to be more energy efficient? Are we trying to recycle more? Are we trying to reduce our dependence on natural gas, for example? So those will be strategies. And based on how we figure out how we're going to move along those lines, we can decide whether green bonds are the way to go, carbon credits are the way to go, or some other financial tools are the way to go.
The global economy in 2025 is marked by a strong emphasis on renewable energy expansion, circular economy adoption, and the growth of ESG investments. Uzbekistan is actively aligning with these trends through its comprehensive green economy strategy, focusing on increasing renewable energy capacity, implementing sustainable practices, and engaging in a global shift towards sustainability. The country's initiative reflects a commitment to environmental protection and positions Uzbekistan as a proactive participant in the global green transformation.